The alarm screams through the bridge of the UNSC Infinity as a Forerunner portal claws open in deep space. In his armor bay, Master Chief listens as Cortana explains that the portal's exit point is not his own universe, but a different reality broadcasting a stolen Forerunner signal. If he does nothing, that signal will lead the Banished to a living world, and another Reach will die. The slipspace core is unstable, and Cortana warns that this jump could tear his body, his mind, or even rip open both universes. John 117 locks into the drop pod, orders the jump, and white Forerunner light rips him out of his own cosmos and into the DC universe. Metropolis basks in late afternoon light. People crowd the streets. Cars crawl through traffic. Screens on buildings play news anchors and superhero debates. Above it all, the daily planet globe turns in the wind. A kid named Luis dribbles a worn basketball down a sidewalk, glancing up at the sky like he always does. He hopes to catch a streak of red and blue. Superman is his favorite. Instead, the sky tears. Clouds twist inward like someone grabbed the air and wrung it out. A circle of white and sickly blue opens, high above the skyscrapers. The daylight bends around it. Everyone on the street stops and stares. On the other side of the world, in the Batcave, warning tones ping across a dozen screens. Bruce Wayne stands in front of the main console, cowl off, sweat dark on his shirt from training. Unidentified energy signature over Metropolis, the computer states in a calm voice. Not magic, not Kryptonian, not apocalyptian. Bruce's eyes narrow. Then what are you? He reaches for the cowl. High in orbit, in the watchtower, the Justice League satellite base, a red blur stops at a bank of monitors. The Flash, Barry Allen, squints at the feed. Whoa, he whispers. That's new. Beside him, Wonder Woman folds her arms. Diana's eyes glow faintly gold as she studies the swirling rift over the city. Her voice is low and steady. This is a wound in the sky, she says. Something forces its way through. On the ground, Luis's basketball slips from his hands. A burning star falls out of the hole. It is not a person at first. It is a blazing pod, metal glowing orange, wrapped in a halo of strange blue hexagons that flicker and pop. It screams through the air toward the city. Windows blow out in its wake. Car alarms howl. The pod slams into the street with a shockwave that flips nearby vehicles and sends people flying. Luis hits the asphalt hard. His ears ring. Dust and smoke curl around him. He looks up and sees the crater. In the center, a huge green figure rises from the broken shell. Master Chief steps out of the pod, 7 feet of armored soldier. His Mjolnir armor is scratched and smoking. His golden visor scans the chaos around him. Cortana, he says. Status. Alive, her voice answers inside his helmet, clear but strained. We made it, Chief, but the portal didn't like us. Shields at 60%. The armor is compensating for dimensional shear, but I'm seeing a lot of weird. He turns. People lie on the street, hurt and shocked. A bus is tipped over, its windows shattered. Flames lick along a row of crushed cars. The soldier in him does not waste time on confusion. He jumps out of the crater. Metal boots crack the pavement. He runs to the bus, digs his gauntlets under its side, and lifts. Muscles strain. Servos whine. The bus groans, tilting, then slams back upright on its wheels. Inside, kids scream and cry. Everybody out, Chief says. His voice is low and calm through the external speakers. Move, now. The driver kicks the door open. Children stumble out. Luis watches in shock as the green giant guides them away from burning cars, puts his own armored bulk between them and the wreck. A propane tank on a truck hisses, fire licking closer. Chief, Cortana snaps. Propane. If that goes, the block goes. He lets go of the bus, sprints for the truck. His shields flicker across his HUD. With one punch, he drives his fist through the tank's side, grabs the metal, and tears it free. Superheated gas thunders out, blasting past him in a roar. The tank explodes away from the crowd, fire jetting into the sky. His shields drop to red. Warning markers flash. Heat sears his armor. He grunts, but stays on his feet. Codex note: Mjolnir Mark 6. Armor converts muscle and reactor power into brute force. But extreme feats drain shields and core reserves fast. High above, a red and blue blur arrows down. Superman cuts through the smoke, cape snapping at his back. He hovers a few meters above the street, eyes glowing as he sweeps his gaze over the scene. He sees the crater, the damaged block, the green armored figure, the saved children. He also sees the torn sky hanging over Metropolis like an open wound. He drops to the ground. "Stand down," Superman says, voice firm but not harsh. "I don't know who you are, but this is my city. Nobody moves until we talk." Citizens murmur and point. Phones come out. Cameras click. Master Chief turns, slow and deliberate. His visor, gold and blank, faces the man of steel. His pulse is steady. He has seen gods before. They usually bleed. "I didn't come here to fight you," he says. "I came here to stop something worse." Before Superman can answer, a second craft screams overhead. This one is not a pod. It is a sleek black jet with bat-like wings. The Batwing hovers, its engines humming. Batman drops from the belly hatch, cape flaring. He lands with barely a sound, eyes already analyzing. "Unknown alloy," he says, mostly to himself. "Advanced exosuit. Non-terrestrial energy signatures. No known match." He looks at Superman. "We need him off the street, now." Police cruisers arrive with sirens howling. Metropolis officers pour out, weapons raised but shaking. The police commissioner, a grey-haired woman named Rodriguez, takes one look at the crater scene and at the three figures standing in it. Her mouth is dry. "This is Commissioner Rodriguez of the Metropolis Police Department," she calls, bullhorn in hand. "Thank you for helping my people, whoever you are. But I need this area cleared before we lose more lives." She is the face of the city's fear and gratitude. Superman nods to her, then looks back at the giant in green. "You heard her," he says. "Let us help you somewhere safe. We can talk there." Master Chief glances once at the sky. The rift still churns above. Energy readings crawl across his HUD in patterns he has never seen. "Cortana," he murmurs. "Scan that." "Already on it," she says. "Chief, that's not slip space. It's something else, and it's unstable." He looks back at Superman. "Your world is in danger," he says. "I won't stand down, but I'll move." Batman steps closer, eyes narrowed. "You say your world, like it isn't yours," he says. "We'll need to talk about that." Before they can move, the sky screams again. The rift spasms, doubling in size. The white-blue light darkens to ugly purple. Lightning tears across it in jagged lines. And from the heart of the wound, new shapes pour out. They are not Covenant, not banished. They are twisted winged things in rusted armor, with insect wings and glowing eyes. Their mouths drip ash, parademons. They streak down toward Metropolis like a swarm of locusts, screeching. People on the street scream. Superman rockets into the air, a red and blue missile. His fists slam into the first wave, sending parademons spinning. Wonder Woman leaps from a nearby rooftop, sword flashing, shield raised. The flash blurs along the street, grabbing civilians and whisking them to safety in streaks of red lightning. The Justice League arrives. On a rooftop, Cyborg locks onto the swarm, cannon glowing. Parademons, he calls. Apocalypse, Darkseid's shock troops. Darkseid? Batman murmurs. His jaw tightens. Of course. Below, Master Chief moves. He switches to his battle rifle in one smooth motion. The weapon hums as Cortana syncs it to the new reality's physics. Adjusting mass driver output, she says quickly. Gravity's different here. Atmosphere too. But a hole in the head is still a hole in the head. He fires. The battle rifle barks, rounds streaking through the air. The first parademon drops, its chest exploding in a spray of ichor. Another loses a wing. Chief tracks targets like targets on a training range, each shot clean and efficient. A parademon dives for Luis, who is frozen in the street. Chief tosses the empty rifle, grabs a crushed street sign, and hurls it like a spear. It slams into the creature mid-air, pinning it to a wall above the boy's head. Luis looks up in awe. "Get to cover," Chief says. The kid nods and runs. Superman glances down between punches, stunned by the speed and precision of the stranger's fire. Most people freeze when parademons attack. This one acts. "Clark," Batman's voice crackles in his ear over the League comms. "New player is good under fire, but he came through the same tear Apocalypse is using. We can't assume he's on our side." "He just saved children," Superman answers, smashing another parademon into the pavement. "That's a good start." Diana lands beside Master Chief as a wave of parademons dive. Her shield rings as she blocks a claw strike. He steps up to her side, drawing an energy sword from a mag clip on his back. The blade blooms into life, blue and deadly. Parademons screech and dive. Chief moves like liquid metal. He ducks under claws, slices through wings, and intercepts attacks aimed at Wonder Woman's exposed flank. His armor takes blows that would punch through tanks. Each time, his shields flare and dim. "Your blade," Diana says as she decapitates an attacker. "It sings like a god's weapon." "Just a tool," he answers. "Then you are a very dangerous man with tools," she says. Cyborg's voice cracks in over their ears, patched into Chief's helmet by Cortana's quick hacking. "Heads up. I'm reading a boom tube signal merging with that portal. Darkseid's tech. Something is piggybacking on the tear." Up to now, a strange soldier has crashed into Metropolis, saved civilians, and fought alongside the Justice League as Apocalypse invades through the wound he opened. In the sky, the rift convulses again. This time it does not spit out parademons. A giant stone-faced hologram flickers in the clouds, eyes burning red. It is not fully there, only a ghost, but its presence makes the air heavy. Darkseid's image looks down on Metropolis. "Another world," his voice rumbles, deep as an earthquake. "Another field to sow with anti-life." Master Chief feels the hair on his neck prickle, even through neural links and armor. Cortana's voice tightens. "Chief, whatever this is, it's not just physical. I'm detecting a signal riding on his voice. A pattern. It's invasive." Darkseid's burning gaze turns toward the green armored warrior. "A soldier ripped from another realm," Darkseid says. "Your will is already broken by others, weapon. You will kneel faster than these fragile gods." Chief's jaw clenches. "Not happening," he mutters. Superman rockets up toward the image, eyes blazing. "You're not touching this world," he shouts. "Not again." Darkseid's image only smiles. "Then die with it." The hologram vanishes. The portal shrinks, parademons retreating. For now, the sky begins to close. The street falls silent except for crackling fires and the groans of the wounded. The Justice League gathers around Master Chief in the crater's shadow. People watch from behind police lines. Helicopters circle above. Commissioner Rodriguez steps forward, hands shaking around her bullhorn. "Whoever you are," she says, looking at Chief, "you helped save my city today. I don't understand what just happened, but thank you." She's the first secular authority to speak for the ordinary people. Her eyes are tired but grateful. Chief nods once. Civilians come first. Batman studies him, silent, calculating. On a hidden channel, another voice enters the League comms, cold, controlled. "ARGUS Director Waller here," Amanda Waller says. "I'm patching in from Washington. That tear, those parademons, and this walking tank all appeared together. That's not a coincidence." Her words drip with suspicion. She is the sacred or secret authority of the shadow world. "I want that soldier in a secure facility," she continues. "We don't know what he is or who he answers to. Bring him in." Superman's jaw tightens. "He just fought with us, Waller," he says. "He saved lives." "And he might be the bullet you don't see yet," Waller replies. "Batman, you of all people should know that." Batman does not argue. He only looks at Master Chief, eyes like steel. "We need to talk," Bruce says, voice low. "Off the street, somewhere secure, about who you are, where you come from, and how that wound opened." Chief's gaze sweeps the ruined block. He counts the fires, the injured, the dead. He hears sirens and sobbing. He also knows Darkseid spoke to him directly. He cannot do this alone. "Fine," he says. "I'll come. But understand this. In my war, I don't belong to anyone. I belong to the mission." Superman shares a glance with Batman and Diana. 3 very different codes, 1 shared worry. "We'll figure out what the mission is," Clark says. "Together." The world's strongest heroes and a soldier from another universe leave the ruined street as night falls over Metropolis. Above them, the sky looks normal again. It isn't. The watchtower hangs over Earth like a silver spearhead. Inside its briefing room, the Justice League sits around a wide table. Holographic screens show replayed footage of the Metropolis battle, energy scans, and one still image of Darkseid's face. Master Chief stands at the far end of the room. His armor is scarred, but his posture is steady. He has removed his helmet, but the narrative stays close. We feel his attention sweep the room. Superman sits with his hands folded, gaze steady. Batman leans in shadow. Wonder Woman's sword rests against her chair. The Flash bounces his leg, nervous energy in motion. Cyborg's eye glows as he scrolls data. Green Lantern hovers a few inches above his seat, ring hand glowing faintly. On a side screen, Amanda Waller's face glowers from a secure channel. Behind her, ARGUS agents move in a dim command center. "Let's start simple," Batman says, voice even. "Name?" "John," the Spartan answers. "Service number 117. They call me Master Chief." "World?" Diana asks. "Your home?" "Earth," he says, "but not this one." Flash whistles low. "Multiverse stuff," he mutters. "Always knew that was going to be a thing." "The portal you made," Cyborg says, tapping at the hologram of the sky wound. "It wasn't our tech, not anything I've seen. What was it?" "Forerunner," Chief says. "A race older than humanity in my universe. They built weapons and gateways that bend space. I used one to follow a stolen signal." Waller leans closer on the screen. "You decided on your own to jump realities. That's a big choice for one man." "In my line of work," Chief says, "you don't wait for committees. You stop the threat you can reach." Superman watches him carefully. "What threat?" he asks. Chief's eyes flick to Darkseid's face on the screen. "In my universe," he says, "we found a Forerunner device on a broken ring world. It started broadcasting into somewhere else. Cortana traced it. The Banished, an enemy army, were trying to lock onto that signal. I assumed it led to another colony, another human world. His gaze sweeps the room. I was wrong. It led here. Batman's fingers steeple under his chin. So this isn't random, he says. Somebody reached into your universe and our own with the same signal. Bait. Or a bridge. Darkseid, Diana murmurs. Green Lantern frowns. I've seen Apocalypse archives. Darkseid has toyed with multiversal tech before. Boom tubes connect dimensions. If he got his hands on a Forerunner device and linked it to our plane. Cyborg finishes the thought. He could jump armies between realities, hit worlds that don't even know he exists. Flash raises a hand. Okay, so bad news. Cosmic Rock Guy is trying to weaponize our new friend's science project. Good news. We have all the heroes in the room, the big satellite, the cool table. We can handle it, right? Maybe, Batman says. If the portal hadn't almost torn Metropolis apart. He brings up a side image. The energy rift over the city, with red overlays. This tear wasn't just a door, he explains. It stressed our atmosphere, our gravity, even the electromagnetic field. Another jump like that in the wrong place could trigger storms, blackouts, or worse. Do it enough times, and you start tearing at the fabric of space-time. Waller's voice cuts in. And the common factor is him, she says. This soldier, his gear, his Forerunner toys. He's a walking breach. A bomb we brought aboard our most important weapon platform. Her eyes bore into Chief's. I want him moved to an ARGUS black site, she says. Now. Superman's hand slams the table, hard enough to make it tremble. No, he says. He saved lives. He deserves respect and answers, not a cell. Respect doesn't stop annihilation, Superman, Waller snaps. This isn't about feelings. It's about risk. He's a weapon from another universe. For all we know, he's carrying an infection, a code, a curse. Chief stays quiet, but inside, he feels the familiar squeeze of being treated as hardware. Diana raises a hand. We are not throwing an ally into a pit without cause, she says. We can guard him. We can test his weapons and his armor. We can decide together. Batman's voice is softer but sharper. You say ally, he says to her. We've known him for hours. He turns his gaze to Chief. Where I come from, Bruce says, children were shaped into weapons, broken and rebuilt to serve men with power. When I look at you, I see someone who did not get to choose his life. John meets his eyes. That's correct, he says simply. Bruce's jaw works. That makes you dangerous, he says. Not because you're evil, because you follow orders. Whose orders will you follow here? John thinks of Halsey, of UNSC admirals, of dead Spartans and burning worlds. The mission, he says. It has always been the mission. Protect humanity. Stop the things that want to erase us. Superman leans forward. That's my mission too, he says. But I don't do it by becoming a weapon someone else can point. I listen. I try to understand. I try to believe people can change. Waller snorts. Nice speech, she says. Meanwhile, real people die while you try to hug it out. The room hums with tension. Up to now, the Justice League has learned that Master Chief is a soldier from another universe whose portal drew Darkseid's gaze, and they disagree deeply over whether he is an ally, a weapon, or a threat. Cyborg brings up new data. Look, he says, I synced with Chief's AI during the fight. Cortana, right? I've never seen code like hers. The armor, the shield tech, the slip space readings. We can use this. We can learn from it. But Waller's right about one thing. The portal left scars. He zooms in on a map of global anomalies. Tiny red dots bloom around the world. These are microfractures, he explains. Places where reality, our reality, thinned for a second when he arrived. Most are stable, a few are not, and something is probing them from the other side. Lantern frowns. Apocalypse. Maybe, Cyborg says. Maybe not. Darkseid isn't the only thing out there that likes weak walls between worlds. Waller presses her advantage. There you have it, she says. Every second that armor stays active, every time his AI pings the old portal, our world gets thinner. I say we shut him down, strip the gear, lock the tech away. Chief's eyes flash. You try to strip this armor, he says quietly. Your people get hurt. The room falls still. Superman studies him. Is that a threat? It's a fact, Chief says. Mjolnir is wired into my nervous system. You don't take it off like a jacket. You cut into it. You cut into me. And my AI is not a toy. I need her to fight what's coming. Flash raises, both hands. Okay, he says quickly. Maybe we don't start with cut open the new friend. Maybe we start with figure out how to stop Cosmic Rock Tyrant instead. Diana nods. Agreed, she says. Darkseid has tasted this world before. If he thinks he has found a new way in, he will not wait long. We must respond. Batman's voice is low. We need data, he says. Cyborg, you and Cortana work on the portal metrics. Find out how many more tiers we can survive. Lantern, scout Apocalypse from orbit if you can without getting noticed. Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash. We need to show the world we're in control. Calm the city. And Chief. He turns to John. You're coming with me. Waller's eyes narrow. To her Batcave is just another word for unauthorized black site, Bruce. Difference is, Batman says, I don't work for you. He cuts the connection. Waller's image vanishes. Superman gives Chief a searching look. If you go with him, Clark says, you'll be poked and scanned and questioned. He doesn't stop digging once he starts. I know the type, Chief replies. I've been the one digging, and the one under the knife. He hesitates. I'll go, he says, if it gets us answers faster. Superman stands. Then I'm going too, he says. If we're going to trust each other, no secrets. Not this time. Batman's mouth tightens, but he nods once. Fine, he said. We'll do this the hard way. The Batcave smells like oil, stone, and rain. Water drips from the ceiling. Computers hum quietly. Rows of suits stand in glass cases like ghosts of old wars. Master Chief stands at the center of a scanning platform, armor lit by pale blue beams. Cortana projects as a small hologram on a nearby console, arms folded, watching Batman's instruments with annoyance. You know, she says, where I'm from, we call this rude. Bruce ignores her. He adjusts settings on a device that looks like a cross between an MRI and alien tech. Superman leans against a stalactite, arms crossed, eyes following everything. Your nervous system is fused to that armor, Bruce says, studying the readings. Bone density off the charts, musculature beyond any known human without powers. He's a soldier from a different Earth, Superman says. You expected normal. I expected patterns, Bruce says. Everything has patterns, including lies. He brings up a hologram of Chief's brain activity. Neural spikes dance in complex shapes. Whatever was done to you, Bruce says quietly, it started when you were very young. You were taken, weren't you? Taken and turned into this. Chief's hands tighten on the platform's railing. I was chosen, he says. Superman listens, eyes softening. Chosen, Bruce echoes. Did they ask you? Chief doesn't answer. The silence speaks for him. My people were told it was for the greater good, Chief says at last. That what was done to us would save billions. I chose to keep fighting because they were right. Superman steps closer. And what did it cost you? He asks gently. What did it cost the boy before the armor? Chief's mind flickers back to soft earth under bare feet, to laughter that feels like someone else's memory, to a name he no longer uses. Doesn't matter, he says. The war mattered. Still does. Batman turns away from the screens and faces him. That's the problem, he says. You think war is all you are. Darkseid will weaponize that. So will Waller. So will anyone who thinks in numbers and not in lives. Numbers are lives, Chief says. You choose a path. People live, people die. That's the job. Superman's voice sharpens. No, he says. The job is to find ways where fewer die, to believe they exist. Belief doesn't stop plasma, Chief says. It stops us from becoming what we fight, Clark snaps. If we become another tyrant's tool, what is the point of winning? Cortana's image flickers. Boys, she murmurs. We have company. Alarms blare. The cave's sensors scream. Cyborg's voice crackles through a comm speaker. Batman, he shouts. New tear, right on top of you. The air in the cave twists. A small portal, no bigger than a man, opens in the middle of the rock. It is not white-blue like the Forerunner Gate. It is deep red and black, lined with burning symbols. From it steps a figure, tall, cloaked, face hidden behind a smooth mask, with the Omega symbol glowing on the forehead. The air around him feels wrong. Master Chief's hand goes to his weapon. Superman moves between the intruder and the consoles. Batman's fingers flick toward his belt. The newcomer raises one hand. I am a herald, the masked figure says. His voice is distorted, many voices layered. I speak with the equation of Darkseid. Symbols flash in the air. They are not letters. They are ideas turned into shapes. Submission, despair, obedience. Chief's HUD flickers as the symbols crawl across his vision. Cortana, he says, firewall. I'm trying, she says, voice strained. This isn't code. It's math in your neurons. It's trying to rewrite how you make choices. Superman's jaw tightens. He feels the pressure too. A weight pushing on his hope, whispering that resistance is pointless. Batman staggers for a second, mind flooded with images of a Gotham he could never save. The herald takes a step closer. You are a soldier raised to obey, he says to Chief. Anti-life is the end of all war. No more doubt, no more pain, only orders, only certainty. Chief's breathing slows. He remembers drill instructors, officers, Halsey's cold eyes, missions where his questions did not matter. His body wants to relax into the familiar shape of obedience. Superman sees his eyes glaze. John, Clark says sharply, fight it. You are more than their weapon. I was built to be a weapon, Chief says, voice distant. It's what I am. Maybe once, Superman says. He steps closer, ignoring the oppressive weight of anti-life symbols like knives in his brain. But you chose to jump here, didn't you? No one ordered you into that portal. You chose to risk yourself to save strangers. Chief's fingers twitch on his rifle. That's not obedience, Clark says. That's free will. The herald laughs. Free will is a burden, he says. You broke under it long ago. His hand flares. Anti-life symbols surge, crashing into Chief's mind like a black tide. For a moment, the Spartan sees a world of clean orders and perfect control. No guilt, no doubt, just targets. He could be so effective there. Then he hears a boy's voice. Thank you, Luis says in his memory, face smudged, eyes wide. He hears all the voices of civilians he has saved. The soft, fragile, stubborn voices that never gave him orders, only thanks. "I am not your tool," John growls. He forces his hand to move. His finger squeezes the trigger. The bullet slams into the ground at the herald's feet, cracking rock, breaking the pattern of symbols. The shock disrupts the mental assault for a second. Superman rushes in, fist glowing. He punches the herald, sending him crashing back through the cave. Batman throws explosive batarangs that detonate around the portal, destabilizing it. The herald rises, cloak smoking. "This world resists," he says. "Good. Darkseid enjoys breaking hard things." He vanishes in a swirl of red-black light. The portal snaps shut. The cave is silent, save for heavy breathing and the drip of water. Chief sinks to one knee, panting. "What was that?" he asks. Cortana's voice shakes. "Anti-life," she says. "A conceptual weapon. A mimetic toxin. It tries to rewrite your will at the most basic level. Chief, you almost..." "I know," he says. Power scaling interlude, I. Cyborg, over the comm, explains it in simple words. "Anti-life is an equation Darkseid uses," he says. "It's not just mind control. It rewrites how you think, how you choose. If it sticks, you don't just follow orders. You can't even imagine not following them. For someone like Chief, who was trained to obey from childhood, that's a direct strike at the core of his identity. His armor and AI can't fully block it, because it isn't normal energy or code. It's more like a virus made of ideas." Superman helps Chief back to his feet. "You fought it," Clark says. "That matters." "I almost didn't," Chief says. Batman walks over, face grim. "Darkseid is not just hitting us with troops," he says. "He's targeting minds, specifically yours, John. He sees your weakness." Chief meets his gaze. "Then we hit him first," he says. Superman shakes his head. "Not without a plan," he says. "If that anti-life equation spreads, one of us could fall. Me, you, Diana. If he controls a Kryptonian or a Spartan, he wins." Batman nods. "We need a strike that disrupts his connection to this world," he says. "Cut him off from the tiers. Close the Forerunner link. We also need to put this place on lockdown. If he can drop heralds into the Batcave, nowhere is safe." Chief looks at the stalactites, the quiet bats, the line of suits. "For what it's worth," he says, "this beats some of the forward bases I've had." Bruce almost smiles. "Don't get used to it," he says. "We're moving." He taps a command into his gauntlet. "League," he says over comms. "Darkseid tested anti-life on our new friend. It almost worked. We need a war room. Now." The Hall of Justice in Washington, D.C. glows in the night. Reporters and civilians crowd outside its steps, hemmed in by barriers and security. Inside, in the main chamber, the heroes gather again. This time, the atmosphere is heavier. On the central table, a three-dimensional map shows Earth, Apocalypse, and a thin line between them, the unstable Forerunner Darkseid portal. Master Chief stands with the League. His presence draws stares from support staff and junior heroes, but no one challenges him. His battle with anti-life shows on a side screen as lines of code and symbols. Batman points at the map. "Darkseid is trying to stabilize this channel," he says. "He's using Chief's arrival as an anchor. Every microfracture Cyborg found is a potential doorway. If he can line enough of them up, he can open a full-scale boom tube reinforced with Forerunner tech." Cyborg highlights the fractures. "We've patched some," he says. "Green Lantern sealed a few from space. Zatanna's working on the ones with magical bleed. But we're playing whack-a-mole. They keep popping up in new places." Green Lantern crosses his arms. We need to cut power at the source, he says. Either blow the Forerunner gate in Chief's universe, or destroy whatever Darkseid is using on his end. Chief nods. I can't reach my universe from here, he says. The Infinity, the UNSC, they're on the other side. I tried pinging my old coordinates. No answer. That bridge goes one way now. So we hit Darkseid's side, Diana says. On Apocalypse. Waller appears on a big screen again, expression hard. You don't hit Apocalypse, she says. That's like throwing a rock at a black hole. It swallows you. And we only have one route, through the same unstable channel that almost tore your planet apart. She glances at Chief's image, and our key to that channel is a compromised asset who almost fell to anti-life in under a minute. Chief bristles. I'm still here, he says. For now, she said. Well, what happens when Darkseid pushes harder? What happens when he broadcasts that equation planet-wide? Do you risk a whole world on the willpower of one kidnapped child soldier in a metal suit? The room goes quiet. Superman's face hardens. Don't talk about him like he's a broken gun, Clark says. He is a man. He made a choice to come here. And I have to think like someone who counts bodies, not feelings, Waller snaps back. That's my job. If I bet wrong, whole cities die. She looks at the rest of the League. You all love to talk about mercy and hope, she says. Fine. But don't pretend that doesn't get people killed sometimes. Diana's eyes flash. Mercy is not weakness, she says. It is strength. It is harder to spare a life than to end it. And yet, Waller says coldly, Darkseid is not impressed by your compassion. He understands only force. If Chief's tech gives us a way to send a kill shot back up that line, we should use it, even if it burns him out. Chief's stomach turns. He's been a weapon all his life. But hearing it spoken so openly by someone who does not even try to hide the calculation is still a blow. Batman speaks before Superman can. You're suggesting we sacrifice him, Bruce says. Turn him into a bomb and hope that takes Darkseid off the board. I'm suggesting we consider it, Waller says, while we still can. The debate sharpens. Absolutely not, Superman says. We don't trade one life for a maybe. We do, every day, Waller snaps. Police, soldiers, firefighters, people are put in danger to protect others. The question is whether the risk is necessary and chosen. Chief signed up to be a soldier. This is his skill set. She looks at John. What do you want, soldier? She asks. If I told you your death would stop Darkseid and save billions, would you say no? The room turns to him. He feels every eye. He thinks of Reach, of Earth, of small colonies no one will ever know the names of. Worlds he saved, worlds he failed. My ethic is simple, he says slowly. We do what we have to do to stop extinction. If my death stops that, I accept it. Superman's face twists. That's not enough, Clark says. You deserve more than a good death. You deserve a life. Chief looks at him. With respect, he says, I didn't grow up in Kansas. A faint, grim smile touches Batman's mouth. Waller presses on. There, she says. He knows the stakes. He's willing. You want to talk about heroism? That's it. Making the hard choice. Flash fidgets. Yeah, but what if we're wrong? He says. What if we burn him up and Darkseid shrugs it off? Then we're down one super soldier and still hosed. Green Lantern nods. Waller's logic is brutal, but it's incomplete, he says. We need more intel before we decide anyone's fate. We don't know Darkseid's full plan. We don't know how the Forerunner tech interacts with boom tubes. We may have options that aren't suicide runs. Diana looks at Chief. What do you believe? She asks softly. Not as a soldier, as John. He hesitates. "I believe duty matters," he says. "I believe you protect the many, even if the few suffer. But," he glances at Superman, "I also believe we should look for other paths before we pick the one covered in bodies." Clark's shoulders loosen a fraction. "That's all I ask," he says. Up to now, the League and Waller have split into two camps. One that sees Chief as a willing but expendable weapon, and one that insists his life has value beyond his tactical use, while Darkseid tightens his grip on the multiversal breach. Cyborg clears his throat. "Okay," he says. "Here's what we know, data only. 1. Darkseid can send heralds and parademons through any fracture that's big enough. 2. He needs Chief's Forerunner signal to make a stable macro bridge. 3. Anti-life is tuned to Chief's psychology. He's a priority target." He brings up a rotating diagram of the portal. "Here's what we don't know," he continues. "How many more leaps Chief's slipspace drive can make before it rips him apart? How far Darkseid is from full anti-life saturation? And whether there's a way to feed a counter-signal back up the line." Lantern raises a hand. "Like a vaccine," he says. "An anti-life." "Exactly," Cyborg says. "But building that requires time. And guess what we don't have?" The lights flicker. A low rumble shakes the hall. Alarms blare as the building trembles. Outside, people scream. Green Lantern shoots into the air, phasing through the ceiling to look. He comes back down, face grim. "New portal," he says. "Bigger than the Metropolis one. Over Central City this time. Darkseid's not waiting." Flash's face drains. "My city," he whispers. Batman's eyes flash. "Chief," he snaps. "How many rapid drops can you take before your armor fails?" Chief checks his HUD. "Not sure," he says. "But enough for one more." "Then we make it count," Batman says. Waller's voice cuts in as sirens climb. "Here's your test, Boy Scout," she says to Superman. "Can your values survive what you're about to see?" Superman doesn't answer. He is already airborne. Central City is a storm of fire and lightning. A massive tear hangs over the skyline, vomiting parademons. Streets crack and buck as shockwaves slam through them. Lightning from the Speed Force crackles uncontrollably as the storm's energy messes with Barry's connection to time. Flash races through the chaos, scooping people out of falling buildings, dodging flying debris, pushing his limits. "I can't be everywhere," he shouts into his comm. "You won't have to," Superman says. He slams into the parademon swarm, fists blazing. Wonder Woman lands on a bridge, bracing as asphalt splits. Green Lantern weaves constructs of shields and nets in the sky. Master Chief drops from the watchtower in a controlled fall. Mjolnir absorbing the impact as he lands on a parademon transport and crushes it. He moves through the battlefield like a stone through a river. A building starts to collapse, its support beams chewed by blasts. Chief races inside armor-scraping walls. He shoulders up under a massive concrete beam as it falls, catching it on his back. His legs tremble, his shields flicker and die. Every alarm in his HUD screams. "People," he grunts. "Get out." Civilians stream past him. One woman trips. He shifts, taking more weight on one knee, freeing an arm to grab her and shove her toward the exit. His spine feels like it is going to break. Outside, Superman hears Cortana's strained voice over the shared channel. "Clark," she cries. He can't hold that much mass for long. His armor is compensating, but his body is still human. Superman streaks into the building, eyes red with heat. "Got it," he says. He gets under the beam beside Chief, shoulders it up with him. Together, they lift. For a second, two very different kinds of soldier share the same load. The beam slams aside. The building stabilizes enough for people to escape. Chief collapses to one knee, gasping. Superman looks at him impressed. "You were ready to let it crush you," he says. "If it kept the roof off them," Chief replies. "Yes." "Don't get too eager to die," Clark says. "We may need you alive." Chief pushes himself back to his feet. "Then give me targets," he says. They get plenty. Parademons swarm in waves. Chief, Superman, Flash, Diana, Lantern, and Cyborg coordinate, their different styles starting to mesh. Chief calls out firing lanes like a field commander, his tactical AI mind mapping the city. Lantern, cut off their retreat vector, he orders. Flash, herd civilians left. Wonder Woman, with me on the right flank. Superman. "You're giving orders?" Clark says, half amused. "You can bench press buildings," Chief says. "I've actually fought hordes before. Trust me." Superman thinks of war on Krypton, of Zod, of the nightmare vision of parademons he once had. He nods. "Fine," he says. "Lead." They form a line in the air and on the ground, a Justice League and Spartan phalanx. It is a classic superhero shot. The world's defenders standing shoulder to shoulder against a tide of monsters. Codex note: human-Spartan combat doctrine scales well when joined with meta-human allies, but it assumes willingness to risk extreme harm for positional advantage. They win. Slowly, painfully, with bruises and burns and broken bones, but they win. The portal shrinks as Cyborg hijacks its frequencies, feeding false coordinates back into it. Parademons are driven back, then cut off. Central City is wrecked, but it still stands. After the battle, the heroes gather on a shattered rooftop. Smoke rises around them. Flash looks out at his damaged home, eyes wet. "People died," he says. "We did everything we could, but..." Chief stands beside him. "In my worlds," John says, "this is what victory looks like. It's never clean." Superman hears the weight in his voice. "Does it ever get easier?" Barry asks. "No," Chief says. "If it does, you're doing it wrong." Batman's voice comes through on comms from the hall, where he stayed to coordinate and plan. "Darkseid tested us," he says. "This wasn't his full force, but we pushed him back without using Chief as a bomb. That matters." Waller cuts in, grudging. "You kept your conscience and your soldier," she says. "Not bad, but Darkseid still has his equation, and now he knows how your new friend thinks." She pauses. "Enjoy the win," she says. "It won't last." The line goes dead. Superman looks at Chief. "You led well," he says. "Your tactics saved lives." Chief shrugs. "Just doing the job." Diana steps closer. "And the job is not done," she says. "Darkseid will strike again. Harder. We must be ready." Up to now, the heroes have won their first major battle together and proven that they can resist Darkseid without sacrificing John. But anti-life has marked him, and every victory comes with heavy costs and deeper moral questions. Repairs crawl across the world, but Darkseid does not rest. Less than a day after the Central City attack, the Watchtower's war room glows with red threat markers. Lightning flickers over Earth on the holographic display. The Justice League stands in a ring around it, faces hard, uniforms still scorched. Master Chief watches in silence. He has changed nothing. Armor still dented. Visor still gold. Only his eyes behind it show the strain. Cyborg taps a control. "Here," he says. "This is what Darkseid is doing." The globe zooms in. Tiny blinking nodes appear all over it, in oceans, deserts, cities, even the upper atmosphere. Every time that portal opened, Cyborg explains, it left behind residue, quantum scars, little bits of Forerunner plus boom tube mixed together. Darkseid is now pumping a low-level anti-life signal through them. Think of it like static in the background of reality. Flash shivers. Creepy static, he says. I ran through one of those spots. Felt like someone walked over my grave, twice. Standard counters are failing, Zatanna says from the far side of the room. The magician's top hat is gone. Her hair hangs loose, eyes ringed with lack of sleep. My spells conceal magic tears. Lantern rings can patch physical ones. But this is neither. It's concept made into radiation. Green Lantern nods. My ring recognizes parts of it as energy, he says. But when I try to crush it, it just scatters, reforms, like I'm squeezing fog. Batman zooms out the view. Darkseid's symbol flashes over the world. He wants to tune our whole planet, Bruce says. Make it more real to him. The Scars Chief's arrival. Made are his anchor points. Superman stares at the globe. And when the tuning is done, he asks quietly. Zatanna's voice is grim. Then a full anti-life wave could roll over Earth, she says. People wouldn't just obey. They'd stop seeing themselves as people. Just pieces. Chief thinks of worlds glassed by Covenant ships. Cities turned to glass and ash. This is worse. This kills the idea of resistance before blood. Is there a source? He asks. A central node we can hit. Cyborg brings up a new image. Yes and no, he says. The main Forerunner anchor is in low orbit, right where you came through. Darkseid has wrapped it in apocalyptian metal. It's now a hybrid platform. Picture a space station fused with a torture chamber. He enlarges it. The structure hangs above Earth like a jagged crown. Forerunner curves twist into black stone spires. Fire pits glow between metal limbs. Parademon docks ring it. We hit that thing, Green Lantern says. We cut his tuning fork in half. Standard counters fail, Batman reminds him. Magic splashes off it. Ring energy gets absorbed. This is his safest node. He knows we will try. Zatanna looks at John. But you came through it once, she says. Or something like it. You understand its physics better than we do. Cortana flickers in Chief's HUD. That's generous, she says dryly. We survived it. I wouldn't call that understanding. Still, I can probably get us in. Waller appears on a side screen, arms folded. There's your path, she says. Hit the anchor, destroy it. But this time, don't half measure. You take a nuke, you take your Spartan, you do what you need to do. Superman looks up frowning. You're not dropping nuclear weapons in orbit, he says. We live under that sky. We already tested his restraint once, Waller says. You want to give Darkseid more time. Let more of that static seep into people's heads. Your call, heroes. But remember who you're failing if you move too slow. Batman breaks in before Clark can reply. No nukes, Bruce says. Too messy, too slow. We need something surgical. Chief, can Cortana overload the Forerunner half from the inside if we get her close enough? Cortana's voice is tired but sharp. Probably, she says. If I can access a control node, I can force a slipspace implosion. It'll eat the station from the core. Chief understands the cost. You do that, he says. The portal network collapses, but the implosion will shred anything nearby, including us. Unless you get out in time, Batman says. Flash raises a hand. So the plan is, Spartan and friends sneak onto hateful space tuning fork, poke its guts, cause space implosion, dash out before the universe collapses on top of us, he says. You know, normal Tuesday. Superman looks around. I'm going, he says. If it's in orbit, I can get us there and bring us home. No, Batman says. Clark blinks. No. You're our last line, Bruce says. If Darkseid pushes a full wave while we're up there, Earth needs you down here to hold the line. Clark hates that he is right. Then who goes? He asks. Bruce answers without hesitation. Master Chief, he says. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Cyborg, Zatanna for defense. I'll coordinate from the watchtower and patch Cortana into our systems. And me, comes another voice. Dr. Fate steps forward, golden helm gleaming. The spirit of Nabu shines behind his eyes. Anti-life touches the soul, Fate says. You will need someone who walks the edge between magic and order. Batman nods. Fine, he says. That's our strike team. You leave in 1 hour. Chief? John looks at him. If it comes down to a choice, Bruce says quietly, you shut that station down no matter the cost. To you, to any of us up there. John does not flinch. That's my job, he says. Superman turns away, fist clenched. He hates that he understands. Up to now, the heroes have learned that Darkseid is tuning Earth through the scars of Chief's arrival, and that the only way to stop him may be a suicidal strike on a hybrid Forerunner apocalyptian anchor in orbit. The Justice League's shuttle hums as it climbs into space. Through a small viewport, Earth curves below, blue and bright. Chief stands near the window, helmet off for now, watching the planet drop away. It looks both like his Earth and not. The cloud patterns are different. The light feels warmer. Wonder Woman sits across from him, strapping on bracers. Green Lantern reclines in a construct chair, ring glowing. Cyborg checks systems, cables snaking from his arm into the shuttle's walls. Zatanna practices quick, low spells under her breath. Dr. Fate stands in the center, cloak unmoving despite the ship's vibration. Do you ever get tired of this? John asks, quietly. Diana looks up. Of what? She asks. Going up, he says. To stop something coming down. She smiles, but it is sad. I weary of war, she says. Not of protecting those who cannot protect themselves. He looks back at Earth. In my world, he says, we call that the job. In yours, you call it heroism. Words do not change the weight, she says. She studies him. You were a child when they took you, she says softly. They made you into this. Did you ever wish you could have laid down the weapon and simply lived? He thinks of a farm he never had, parents he barely remembers. It doesn't matter, he says. The war doesn't care what I wish. That is Darkseid's voice, Fate says suddenly. They look at him. The idea that only war matters, he explains. That life is nothing but conflict and obedience. That is the seed of anti-life, Spartan. Chief frowns. If life isn't just war, he says, then what am I for? Diana reaches out and grips his shoulder. You are for more than what they made you, she says, even if you do not see it yet. Before he can answer, the shuttle shudders. Visual, Cyborg says. The Forerunner Apocalyptian station fills the viewport. It is huge. White-blue Forerunner plates twist in smooth arcs, pierced by black stone towers that spit fire into space. Energy crackles along its skin, purple and blue and sickly red. Swarms of parademons circle it like flies around a corpse. Cortana, Chief says. Her voice is focused now. I see an access point, she says. Forerunner gate fused to a boom tube ring. If we dock there, I can slip inside the system. But I'm reading anti-life signatures. The code is already dirty. Meaning, Lantern asks. Meaning I might not be able to get back out, she says. If Darkseid grabs me while I'm in there, he could twist me, use me. Chief's chest tightens. We don't do the mission without you, he says. We don't do the mission without someone, she replies. We don't have to decide who yet. Fate raises a hand. Caution, he says. We will have company soon. He is right. As the shuttle moves in, A spear of red light lances out from the station. It stops a few meters from the hull and blossoms into a boom tube. From the tube steps a woman in black and silver armor. Her hair is dark, eyes burning red. The Omega symbol glows on her forehead. She carries a spear that hums with power, its tip made of a shifting, sickening light that looks wrong. Diana's jaw clenches. "Grail," she says, "daughter of Darkside, warrior of Apocalypse, priestess of anti-life." Grail smiles. "Half Amazon," she adds. "Do not forget that, sister." She floats toward the shuttle, spear held easily. "You bring a broken soldier and a few old gods to my father's altar," she says. "How touching." Green Lantern opens the hatch. Vacuum would kill normal people. None of them are normal. He floats out, ring blazing. "Hey," he says. "Apocalypse isn't a welcome club. No +1s." Grail's eyes flash. "You are in no place to joke, Lantern," she says. "This is your only warning. Turn back, leave our gate, or I carve your wills out of your bones." She stares at Chief. "And I return this one to the master he deserves." John steps onto the hull. He snaps his helmet on and seals it. Magnetic boots clamp to the metal. He stands on the shuttle spine facing Grail as Earth turns far below. "Not happening," he says. Grail's smile widens. "Then we dance," she says. The duel begins on the skin of the station. Stars burn around them. The curve of Earth gleams below. There is no sound except suit radios and the distant hum of alien engines. Grail moves like a blade of light. She lunges. Chief raises his rifle. Her spear slices through it like it is made of paper. The weapon shatters in his hands, pieces spinning off into the void. "Anti-life polearm," Cortana warns. "Contact will bypass armor. Don't let it touch you." "Noted," he says. He draws his energy sword. The blue blade crackles. It meets Grail's spear in a shower of sparks and dark flares. The clash shakes his arms. She laughs. "You are strong," she says. "I see why Father is interested in you." She hooks his sword aside, drives a knee into his chest. His shields flare and drop to yellow. He grunts, boots scraping. "Lantern," Wonder Woman calls. "Deal with the parademons. Cyborg, Zatanna, Fate, cover the dock. Chief and I will handle her." She leaps from the shuttle, sword drawn, shield up. Her and Grail's blades meet in a flurry of strokes that would slice a normal person in half. Chief re-engages. He moves with them, a third vector in their dance. He knows nothing about magic bloodlines, but he knows about flanks and openings. Grail's spear whistles past his visor, trailing anti-life light. He ducks, slashing at her ankle. She hops over the strike like it is nothing, spins, and drives the spear into his side. There is no physical impact. For a second, nothing happens. Then pain explodes through his nervous system. It feels like his own will turning on itself. A spike of pure rejection, as if his mind is trying to tear itself out of his body. His HUD goes white. Cortana screams in his ear as code scrambles. He falls to one knee. "Chief," she shouts. "She's injecting anti-life into your neural lace. It's rewriting fire orders, top priority." Grail presses the spear closer, expression almost gentle. "Imagine it," she croons, voice sliding into his head. "No more doubt. No more nights wondering if you did enough. No more counting the dead. Only the mission. Only the target. Father's will as your will." He sees himself marching under a black sky. He sees Spartans lined up forever, all with his face, all moving as one. No fear, no grief, no choice. "You were taken as a child," Grail whispers. "They robbed you of life. My father offers you a purpose that fits the shape they left. You were made to obey. Why pretend otherwise?" Her words slip into wounds he never wanted to examine. In the distance, he hears battle. Green Lantern shouts as he wrestles parademon hordes. Zatanna chants, hair flying, magic cracking against incoming fire. Fate's voice echoes, layers of sound holding a shield around the docking point. Wonder Woman snarls as she holds Grail's attention with a flurry of blows, buying Chief seconds. "John," Superman says in his ear from the watchtower, voice tight. He is following the feed. "Listen to me. You are not only what they made you. You chose to come here. You chose to fight for a world that wasn't yours." Grail leans close. "And that was your mistake," she says. "Look at them. These heroes. They cling to fragile ideas. Hope. Mercy. They will not take the hard path. My father will break them. But you are stone. You can be his right hand. You can end the war forever." She pushes harder. The spear's light digs into his mind. Cortana's voice is a ragged whisper now. "Chief," she says, "I can firewall some of it. Not all. If you let this in, I may not be able to pull you back." Chief remembers Reach burning. He remembers seeing whole continents turn to glass and still going back out again because that was the mission. "I could end it," he says, voice strained. "If I take his offer, I could end it. No more back and forth. You were right, Batman. I am what they made me. So maybe I should lean into it." Wonder Woman hears him. Her eyes blaze. She drives her shield between Grail and Chief, forcing the spear back a fraction. "Do not let her steal your pain," Diana says fiercely. "That hurt is proof you are more than a weapon. A weapon does not mourn. A weapon does not doubt. You do." Grail sneers. "Spare me your Amazon sermons," she says. "You are a failed daughter. He is a perfected weapon." She knocks Diana aside with a blast of Omega energy from her eyes. The Amazon hits the station hard, armor sparking. Grail turns back to Chief. "Choose," she says. Temptation presses in on all sides. Chief sees an easy path. Give in, follow orders, break worlds with clean logic. No more questions. He also sees Luis's small face, Central City's broken streets, the way Superman looked lifting that beam beside him, tired, hopeful, stubborn. He hears Diana's voice again. "You are for more than what they made you." He grits his teeth. "No," he says. He grabs the shaft of the spear with both hands. Anti-life bites into his palms, trying to crawl up his arms, into his chest. He roars and forces the weapon away from his neural ports. His shields shatter, his armor locks in places. But he moves anyway, muscles tearing as he twists. He snaps the spear in half. The explosion of wrong light throws him and Grail apart. Dark energy ripples across the station's skin. Parademons scream as the shockwave tears some of them apart. Lantern's constructs flicker. Zatanna's spell circle shatters. Chief tumbles across the hull, slamming into a Forerunner ridge. His armor cracks at the joint. Pain flares in his ribs, but the spear is broken. Grail floats in space, stunned, half her weapon gone. "You refuse," she snarls. Chief coughs, blood in his mouth. "I choose," he says. "That's the difference." Codex note. Anti-life exposure leaves lasting scars in neural lace interfaces. Total rejection is impossible once touched, only managed by will, allies, and counter symbols. Grail's eyes blaze. "Then die," she says. She unleashes a beam of Omega energy, pure red death that seeks him, bending through space. He cannot dodge in time. Wonder Woman throws herself between them. The beam slams into her shield. She screams as the force pushes her back, heels carving furrows in the metal. The Omega effect tries to unmake her. Her divine heritage fights back. The clash cracks her armor, draws blood from her nose. "Diana!" Superman shouts. He's already moving, streaking from the watchtower, but even he cannot beat light. Chief staggers up. He sees her braced, about to be overwhelmed. He does not think. He charges. He slams his shoulder into her back, adding his weight to hers. Together, they push against the beam. His cracked armor sizzles. Anti-life residue crawls up his nerves. "Push," she grunts. He pushes. The beam glances off, tearing a gouge in the station instead of erasing them. The recoil throws all three backward. Chief, Diana, and Grail. Grail recovers first. She retreats toward the boom tube, eyes narrowed. "This is not over," she says. "Father wanted you tested. You survived, for now. But the spear's fragment is in you, Spartan. Every time you doubt, he will whisper." She steps back into the tube and vanishes. The portal snaps shut. The station groans. Cyborg shouts from the dock. "Chief," he yells, "we have a problem. You broke her spear, but the anti-life spike fused with the Forerunner core. It's destabilizing. We've got maybe 5 minutes before this whole platform implodes." Fate floats closer, cloak billowing. "Darkseid will not waste this chance," he says. "He will use the collapse to send a shock of anti-life down every scar on Earth." Chief's vision blurs. "Then we stop it," he says. He tries to stand and nearly falls. Wonder Woman catches him. "Can you walk?" she asks. "If I have to," he answers. "You have to," she says. "Come." They race with the others toward the docking ring. Inside, Forerunner halls twist with apocalyptian stone. The air is thin. Energy arcs from walls. Cortana flickers in every device. "I'm in," she says. "The core's about to chain react. If I invert it, I can collapse the portal network before Darkseid rides the blast." But, Chief demands. "But it will pull me apart," she says. "Or twist me. I'll be part Forerunner key, part anti-life echo. I don't know what that looks like, for me or for you." He stops. No time. Too much time. "Find another way," he says. "There isn't another way," she snaps. "We designed our lives around no-win scenarios, remember? This is one." Dr. Fate speaks, his voice layered. "There is another road," he says. "A dangerous one. We can call on the cosmic balance, on the higher judgment that governs life and death, choice and fate. But that comes with its own price." Zatanna swallows. "You mean him," she says. "The Spectre." Fate nods. "He is the wrath of the highest power," Fate says. "He can fuse, bind, or cut what we cannot. But he does not act for free, and he may judge the Spartan as much as he saves him." The station shakes harder. Cyborg stumbles, catches himself. "We're out of time," he shouts. "Picky, poison!" Chief hears Cortana breathing in his ear. "You can't carry me into a god's court, Chief," she says. "I'm dirty code now. Let me do this. Let me burn out the infection with me." His hand curls into a fist. "You are not expendable," he growls. "Not to me." "My hero," she says softly. "You know that isn't how war works." Superman's voice bursts in from outside. "I'm almost there," he says. "What's the call?" Chief feels every choice like a weight. Let Cortana sacrifice herself. Trust a cosmic judge he has never met. Destroy the station and hope Darkseid does not twist the blast anyway. He thinks of all the times AIs have been treated as disposables, tools to be used and tossed. He makes his choice. "Fate," he says. "Call your judge." Fate nods. He raises both hands. Golden symbols flare, spinning. The air in the corridor goes heavy and green. Reality bends. For a moment, Chief feels a presence so vast it makes Darkseid feel small. A voice rolls through the station without sound. "You call on vengeance," it says. But what you need is judgment. A figure appears at the heart of Fate's spell. Cloak, chains, glowing green eyes in shadow. The Spectre. He is not as big as Darkseid. He does not need to be. The power around him is cold and absolute. Chief feels every sin of his life weighing on him in that glow. Every civilian he failed to save. Every time he obeyed an order without question. Careful, Zatanna whispers. He judges gods. The Spectre looks at Chief. You carry foreign sin into this plane, the spirit says. War from another world. You echo the fabric of this cosmos with your very breath. Why should you be allowed to remain? Chief wants to stand tall, but his knees buckle. He forces himself up. Because I am trying to fix it, he says. Because I didn't know. Because if you erase me now, Darkseid wins. And if you stay, the Spectre says, Darkseid has his anchor. His test spear has already pierced you. Anti-life clings to your soul. The station groans around them. Cortana cuts in. We're about to come apart here, she yells. Judge fast or forever hold your peace. The Spectre turns his gaze to her code in Chief's systems. You are not of flesh, the spirit says. Yet you have loved as if you were. You are willing to die here. Yes, she says. And no, I want to live. But if dying keeps him free, I'll do it. That's what we're for. There is a long pause. The Spectre raises one hand. Very well, he says. I will not erase either. But you will not leave this place as you came. Green light floods the core. Cortana screams. But it is not pain. It is change. The Forerunner engine twists. Anti-life cracks and recoils. The station's own blast freezes in place for a second, then begins to collapse inward, cleanly, as if someone folded space like paper. Chief feels something rip inside him. A thread tying him to his home universe snaps. He falls to his knees. The Spectre's voice echoes. Your portal is now bound to this reality, he says. You cannot go home the way you came. Your presence will no longer tear new scars, but the old ones remain. To close them, you must face higher judgment fully. Come to my seat, soldier. Submit to the three paths. The light fades. The Spectre is gone. The station implodes. A ring of white light blooms outward, then vanishes. The structure collapses into a point of darkness and then nothing. Cyborg teleports the team out at the last second. Lantern pulls with his ring. Zatanna shouts one last word. They reappear in Earth orbit, tumbling. Green Lantern catches them in a bubble and guides them back toward the shuttle. Chief lies in the construct, staring up at the stars, chest heaving. How bad? He asks. Cortana's voice is faint, but there. We're alive, she says. Different. My code feels tied to something bigger now, to those scars on Earth. We're part of the patch. Superman's voice comes from the watchtower, relief thick. You did it, he said. The tuning fork is gone. The anti-life static dropped across the planet. People are freer. For now. Batman cuts in. But the Spectre laid down terms, Bruce says. He called you to answer, to stand in front of him and be judged. Chief closes his eyes. Story of my life, he mutters. Fight, bleed, then get called to the principal's office. Diana smiles wearily. This principal, she says, is harsher than most. Up to now, Chief has refused Darkseid's temptation, shattered Grail's anti-life spear at great cost, survived by calling on the Spectre, and lost his path home while binding himself and Cortana to Earth's wounded fabric, with a summons now hanging over him to face cosmic judgment. The journey to judgment begins in quiet. Days pass. Earth rebuilds again. The anti-life static is lower, but not gone. People sleep easier. Some do not sleep at all, haunted by strange nightmares from the tuning days. In the Watchtower's medbay, Master Chief lies on a reinforced bed. His armor is open in places, exposing pale, scarred skin mapped with implants. Doctors and techs move around him, but they do not touch the neural lace without his consent. Superman stands at the foot of the bed, Batman beside him, Wonder Woman at his left. On a nearby screen, Cortana flickers in a more human-like avatar. She looks tired, for code. "How does it feel?" Clark asks. Chief flexes his fingers. "Wrong," he says. "Part of me keeps reaching for a route home. It's not there. It's like missing a limb." Batman checks a scan. "The Spectre fused your Forerunner beacon into our fabric," Bruce says. "You're key to this universe now. No more accidental tears. But the anti-life residue is still in your neural lace. Dormant, not gone." Zatanna leans in the doorway, arms folded. "And the Spectre doesn't give invitations," she says. "He gives commands." Diana nods. "He called you to stand before him," she says. "If you refuse, he may take that as guilt or defiance. Neither ends well." Chief stares at the ceiling. "Where does he sit?" he asks. "This judge of yours." "Outside normal space," Fate says, stepping in. "At the edge of everything. The place you touch for a moment in that station. We can guide you there, but we cannot shield you from him. Not fully." Waller appears on a small monitor, expression tight. "You're really doing this," she says, "marching our best chance against Darkseid into a cosmic courtroom." Batman's voice is dry. "You wanted him judged," he says. "You're getting your wish." "I wanted him under human control," Waller snaps. "Not handed to a ghost in a cloak who answers to a power I can't negotiate with." "Welcome to humility," Zatanna murmurs. Waller scowls. "You'd better come back with clear rules," she says. "Because if the Spectre decides he doesn't like the idea of multiversal soldiers, he might decide to remove the problem at the source." She cuts the connection. Chief swings his legs off the bed. His body protests. He stands anyway. "Then we go," he says, before Darkseid makes his next move. Superman steps forward. "You won't go alone," Clark says. "We stand with you." Fate nods. "The route is dangerous even for us," he warns. "We travel through the cracks between realities. If anti-life flares in you, it may try to hijack the path." "Story of my life," Chief repeats. "We walk anyway." The vessel that carries them is not a ship. It is a spell and a construct and a ring of light all at once. Inside a glowing sphere, Chief, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, Zatanna, Cyborg, and Dr. Fate stand shoulder to shoulder. The world around them is a tunnel of stars and darkness, light bending in strange angles. Cortana hums in Chief's mind. "This is new," she says. "Slipspace never looked like this." "Because it isn't slipspace," Fate says. "We move along the edge of the source, the background power that feeds magic, will, and even anti-life. It is not meant for mortal travel." The tunnel shudders. Green Lantern flares his ring, reinforcing the walls of light. Zatanna chants, adding her spells. Cyborg plugs into the construct's controls, stabilizing it with calculations. Chief feels something tug at him. A whisper. "You were made to obey. You were built for clean orders. Why go to judgment when you could go to war?" Anti-life stirs in his brain. His hand twitches toward his rifle. Batman sees it. "Talk to me," Bruce says. "What are you hearing?" "Darkseid," Chief says through gritted teeth, "or what he left in me. He doesn't want me judged. He wants me free. His kind of free." "Not surprising," Fate says. "If the Spectre binds you, Darkseid loses a piece on the board. He will try to derail this journey." The tunnel twitches again. A rip opens in the side. Through it steps a figure in armor that looks all too familiar. Green and black plates, gold visor, broad shoulders. But the armor is wrong. The lines are sharper, crueler. Omega symbols are etched into every surface. His visor burns red. Chief stares. The others tense. Tell me that's not. Flash starts. It isn't, Fate says grimly. Not exactly. It is a construct, a mirror. The new figure speaks. His voice is John's, but twisted, flattened. I am Omega 117, he says. Darkseid's perfected Spartan, built from your fear, your doubt, and the anti-life seed in your mind. He tilts his head. Nice escort, he says. Very noble, very doomed. Mirrorfoe B has arrived. Superman steps forward. You're not real, Clark says. Just another trick. Omega 117 laughs. Real enough to kill you, he says, but you're not the point. He turns his visor toward Chief. You are, he says. Tell me, John, why fight judgment? You know what the Spectre will say. You have killed. You have obeyed horrible orders. He will bind you, chain you, clip your rifle. Why not join me instead? Break free of both Darkseid and God. Become the war itself. Diana raises her sword. Do not listen, she says. He is your fear-given shape. And your desire, Omega 117 counters. Your desire to stop being the puppet. He draws a weapon. It looks like Chief's rifle, but its barrel glows with red anti-life geometry. This is what you could be, Omega 117 says. A soldier who writes his own mission parameters. No Waller, no Spectre, no generals. You decide who lives, who dies. No guilt, because you know better than all of them. He raises the rifle. He fires. The blast hits the bubble wall, tearing a hole. The path shakes. Light sputters. Green Lantern grunts, focusing, ring blazing as he patches it. Can't hold this and fight him, Lantern says. We need to pick. Fate's voice is tense. He is made of your flaw, John, he says. Only you can truly face him. The rest of us can only delay him. Batman steps up beside Chief. You don't have to do it alone, Bruce says. We share the same flaw, thinking we always know better. Let us help. Chief nods once. Fine, he says. He's my shadow, but we fight as a squad. They step forward together. Omega 117 laughs again. Cute, he says. The bat and the broken toy. Let's see what you've got. The clash inside the tunnel is fast and brutal. Omega 117 moves with all of John's skill and none of his restraint. He fires in patterns Chief recognizes because he invented them. He aims not at bodies, but at weak points in the construct, forcing Lantern and Zatanna to split their attention. Chief and Batman rush him. Chief's fist slams into Omega's helmet. Omega's rifle butt cracks against Chief's ribs. Armor dents. Visors scrape. Batman whirls around behind Omega, cape flaring, and jams an electrified batarang into an armor joint. Sparks fly. Omega barely reacts. This body is a concept, he says. You can't stun an idea. He grabs Batman by the throat and hurls him into the wall. The construct ripples. Superman darts in, trading blows with the mirror Spartan. Each punch shakes the tunnel. Omega uses John's tactics against him, dragging Superman into fields of anti-life residue that flare with each hit. Chief sees a pattern. Omega is targeting structure, not people. He is trying to collapse the path entirely. Lantern, Chief shouts. Stop patching every hit. Fortify the center. Let the edges flex. Lantern trusts him. He shifts tactics. Instead of sealing every wound, he thickens the core of the tunnel, letting the outer layers ripple and absorb blows. Zatanna adjusts her spell accordingly, speaking backward commands that spread the stress instead of resisting it. Omega's shots start to do less structural damage. He growls. Stop learning. He snarls at Chief. You're supposed to be the slow one, the blunt instrument. Chief's visor gleams. I learn fast when the test is my life, he says. Omega charges at him. Their armor slams together. They tumble, locked. For a second, their helmets touch. 2 golden visors, 2 voices. Omega 117 speaks only to him now, on a private channel. You think this judgment will set you free, he says. It won't. They will use you until you break, then toss you aside. Waller, Batman, even Superman with his sad eyes. They all love the tool as long as it serves. You know this. You live this. Chief can't deny the grain of truth. They're different, he says. They argue. They doubt. They listen. Do they? Omega hisses. They sent you into space to die for them twice. They ask you to stand in front of their ghost judge so he can decide if you live. You are still a weapon on someone else's leash. The words cut deeper than the strikes. Take my path, Omega urges. Break every leash. Refuse Waller. Refuse Darkseid. Refuse Spectre. Do what you already do, but admit what you are. Judge, jury, executioner. No more pretending. Chief thinks of all the times he acted on his own. Disobeyed. Took missions past what he was told. How different is that from Omega's path? Batman sees Chief's hesitation. He slams into Omega's back, grappling him. This is what he wants, Bruce snaps. To make you think there are only 2 choices. Blind obedience or cold tyranny. He's lying. Omega elbows him aside. And you're not, Omega spits. You dress up your control as preparation, your paranoia as planning. You hoard information, pull strings, build contingencies. You are him, in a cape. Batman flinches, just a fraction. Chief sees it. He also sees Superman holding the tunnel together with his bare hands now, metaphorically, helping Lantern and Zatanna. Diana holding onto Chief's arm, grounding him. He realizes something. The difference isn't the work, he says slowly. It's who we answer to. Omega snaps his helmet toward him. Answer to no one, Omega says. That is freedom. No, Chief says. That's just another kind of leash. To yourself, to your worst parts. He feels the anti-life whisper in him. It wants clean lines, simple math. He refuses. He slams his forehead into Omega's visor, cracks spiderweb. Omega reels. Chief grabs him. He does not shoot. He does not snap the neck. He holds. Lantern, Chief yells. Can your ring target concepts? Lantern blinks. Kinda, he says. If you tell me what to think about. Think my flaw, Chief says. Think this specific fear. Pull it off me. Punch it in that thing. Lantern locks onto him. The ring glows. It scans Chief's mind. With his consent, it finds the anti-life pattern shaped like Omega 117. The belief that he is only a weapon. The desire to control everything through force. Lantern points his ring. A beam lashes out, not at bodies, but at that idea. It hits Omega. He screams. Light and shadow rip off Chief like smoke. Omega 117 begins to tear apart, his form shredding into strings of anti-life code. This isn't over, Omega shrieks. You can't cut out what you are. I am you. Chief holds him steady. No, he says. You're one part of me, and I'm done letting you drive. Omega 117 explodes into green and red sparks. They fade. The tunnel steadies. Dr. Fate exhales. The path is open again, he says. But the Spectre has seen this clash. He knows your shadow. He will judge you by it. Chief nods. I'd rather be judged for who I am, he says, than let that thing run me. Up to now, Chief has faced a twisted mirror of himself, made from his worst flaw, rejected the path of total control, and helped his allies literally rip that flaw's anti-life shape out of his mind, knowing that the cosmic judge watching will now weigh both his sins and his choice. The tunnel opens. Beyond it lies a place that is not a place. It looks like a vast, empty plain, stretching in every direction. Above it, a sky of swirling green and white, filled with ghostly echoes of every battle ever fought. Sound is a muted hum of distant cries and prayers. In the center stands a throne of stone and chains. On it sits the spectre. He is larger now, towering over them. His cloak flows into the ground. His eyes blaze brighter. Around the field, other figures watch. The phantom stranger, dead man, a few of the new gods from New Genesis, stern faces unreadable. They are silent witnesses. The League's powers dim as they step onto the plain. Superman feels his strength dampen. He can still move, but flying feels like pushing through heavy water. Wonder Woman's divine aura dulls. Her sword still cuts, but less sharply. Green Lantern's ring glows, but the constructs are thinner. Magic, will, science, all muted. Chief's armor whirs. Systems are dropping to safe mode, Cortana reports. This place does not like active tech or guns. I noticed, he says. He steps forward. Each step feels heavy, like the gravity here wants him to kneel. He refuses. He stops before the throne. The spectre looks down at him. You have brought war into this plane, the spirit says. You have killed without number. You have obeyed orders that crushed worlds. You have also disobeyed when your conscience screamed. You are not simple to weigh. Chief looks up. I never claimed to be, he says. Superman speaks. We stand with him, Clark says, voice steady. He came here to fix damage he did not mean to cause. He fought Darkseid when he could have kept walking. He saved lives. The Spectre's gaze shifts to him. And you, son of Krypton, the spirit says, would risk your world for one soldier from another. Your heart is soft. Your will is iron. You cannot stand aside. Diana steps up. Judge him fairly, she says, not as a tool, as a man who did not get to choose his forge. Batman adds his voice low. I see what he could become, Bruce says. I see the danger, but I also see the choice he made in orbit. He could have taken anti-life, become Darkseid's spear. He broke it instead. He let himself be tied to our world. He called you here. That counts. The Spectre listens, but his face does not change. This is not a trial by friends' words, he said. This is a trial by truth. He raises a hand. Light spears down around Chief. Images flood the air around them. Children in Spartan training. A small boy named John being taken from his bed, replaced by a clone doomed to die young. Harsh drills, augmentations that break some, kill others, leave survivors stronger and scarred. The League watches, stunned. Waller appears in one image, watching from a screen in the Hall of Justice. She sees what they see now. My God, she whispers. They did that to their own. The Spectre's voice rolls. This is your origin, he says. You were made into a weapon before you could spell your own name. Your early sins are not yours. They belong to those who forged you. New images. Master Chief on the battlefield. Covenant ships exploding. Flood horrors burned away. Whole cities sacrificed. Millions dying so billions might live. Here, the Spectre says, your choice began. You could have broken. You did not. You took every mission. You followed every order. You killed and killed and killed, all for a cause you believed would save more than it destroyed. He shows Reach burning. The Ark, Earth. He shows Chief disobeying too, protecting Cortana when he was told to hand her over, chasing her signal at great risk, jumping into the unknown portal to save a world he had never heard of. You are not only obedient, the Spectre says, you are stubborn, loyal to people, not just flags. He shows Central, City, the building beam, the choice to risk his life for strangers. He shows the duel with Grail, the moment of near acceptance, the refusal. He shows Omega 117 tearing at the tunnel, the mirror path refused. You have been tempted by control, the Spirit says, by the lie that a single will can decide all fates. You did not take that path. You chose to risk judgment instead. That is rare. The law here is simple, he continues. Those who bring foreign war to this universe without consent are rejected, erased. Those who come by choice to defend it may be bound to its rules. The question is, do you accept those rules? Chief swallows. What are they? He asks. The Spectre leans forward. You will not use your Forerunner portals without leave, he says. The path between worlds is closed to you unless I, or those like me, open it. You will not act as a weapon for any one state or agency. Not Waller, not the United Nations, not even the League. You will answer to a higher mission, the protection of sentient life in this cosmos as a whole. Waller curses under her breath. Unheard here. You will submit to relapse checks, the Spectre goes on. Anti-life is in you. If it flares, if you slip toward Omega 117's path, you will call on Lantern's ring, magic, or my gaze. You will not hide it. You will not trust your own judgment alone. Chief nods slowly. Checks, he says. Limits. His whole life was limits. These feel different. You will not choose the path of self-sacrifice as your first answer, the Spectre adds. Your world taught you that your life is a coin, to be spent on command. This world will not spend you so easily. You will look for other options before you throw yourself at the bomb. That one hits hard. He stands very still. Can I still choose to die, if there's no other way? He asks. Yes, the Spectre says, but not until you have worked with others to find every other road. You are not alone anymore, John 117. That is the law. Fate's eyes gleam behind his helm. This is more merciful than some get, he murmurs. The Spectre's light dims a little. I am not only wrath, he says. Not today. He raises both hands. Power scaling interlude 2. The Spectre speaks in clear terms the new rules of John's power. His armor and portals are now tuned to this universe's fabric. He cannot tear new scars by moving or fighting. But every time he pushes his suit beyond normal limits, holding buildings, jumping between orbit and ground, forcing slipspace-like moves, the anti-life residue in him stirs. If he overuses those feats without checks, he risks a relapse into Darkseid's influence. His mandate now is not to be the biggest gun, but a bound guardian, strongest when he works with others, weakest when he acts alone and unchecked. The green light swirls down. It wraps around Chief's armor, seeping into the plates. It flares at his neural lace, binding the anti-life spear fragment with chains of light and law. It hurts. He grunts, teeth clenched. When it fades, his armor looks the same, but he feels different. He feels the constraints like a new HUD overlay. Little red lines marking do not cross on his instincts. Invisible walls that say, not your call alone. The Spectre stands. Your 3 paths will be shown soon, he says. But for now, your status is this. You are sanctioned to act in defense of this universe. Bound, watched, but free to choose within these walls. He looks at the others. And you, heroes of this world, he says, will honor that. You will not treat him as a toy to aim. You will treat him as a comrade under covenant. Break that, and you answer to me. Superman bows his head. We accept, Clark says. Diana nods. We will guard him, she says, and he will guard us. Batman meets the Spectre's gaze without flinching. I will hold him to the rules, Bruce says. but I'll also make sure we don't twist them to use him like Waller wants." "Good," the Spectre says. He sits back. "Darkseid moves still," he adds. "This judgment does not end the war. It only sets the lines. The next move will test whether you can hold to them." The plane dims. One by one, the silent witnesses fade. The last thing Chief sees before the light takes them is the Spectre's gaze, unreadable and vast. Then the League is standing in the watchtower again. The normal hum of machines sounds small. Chief sways. Superman catches his arm. "Easy," Clark says. "You did it." Chief breathes out. "Feels like boot camp again," he says. "Someone else setting the rules." Diana smiles gently. "Difference is," she says, "this time you agreed." Up to now, Chief has walked into a cosmic court, had his entire life laid bare, accepted binding rules that limit his power and force him to work with others, and emerged not erased, but transformed into a sanctioned guardian watched over by the Spectre. 3 weeks after Judgment, the world pretends to be calm. It is not. The Hall of Justice is packed. World leaders on screens, League members in person, support staff line the walls. Outside, cameras flash. At the center, a clear platform holds Master Chief. His armor is sealed. New, faint lines glow across the chest plate, like scars in the paint. He stands still, hands at his sides. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman stand near him. On the main screen, Amanda Waller's face looks carved from stone. "We all saw the report," Waller says. Darkseid backed off. The anti-life static dropped. Good. But the scars are still there. His parademons can still probe them. And you brought back a Spartan who is now bonded to those weak points. She points straight at Chief. "He's our lockpick and our target," she says. "We need hard rules, and a plan for if he snaps." "We have rules," Superman says. "The Spectre made them clear." "Your ghost judge does not run my planet," Waller fires back. "We do." Murmurs crawl through the room. A delegate from a small country leans into her mic. "With respect," she says, "if this Spectre can erase us, I want to stay on his good side." "We aren't here to bow to it," Waller says. "We're here to make sure this soldier doesn't become our doom, while you all argue morality." Batman's voice cuts through the noise. "Arguing morality is the job," he says. "We decide what lines we will not cross, or someone else draws them for us." He glances at Chief. "Including our new ally," Bruce adds. Waller's eyes narrow. "Ally today," she says. "What about tomorrow? What about when Darkseid hits us again? What about when anti-life flares in his head and he starts seeing us as numbers?" Chief breathes in. "Talk to me, not around me," he says. "You want to know what I'll do? Ask me." Waller stares at him, then nods once. "Fine," she says. "Here's the question, Spartan. If I bring you intel that says a preemptive strike on Apocalypse will save 10 billion lives but risk one city, do you go? Do you choose the numbers? Or do you listen to the capes and their no one left behind speeches?" The room holds its breath. Chief thinks of Reach, of glassed worlds, of sacrifices he never got to question. He also thinks of the Spectre's chains of light, of the rule carved into him. You do not choose the bomb first. "I hear the intel," he says. "I hear the capes. I run the options with both, and I do not pull the trigger alone." Waller scoffs. "So you hand the gun to them," she says. "That's your big change." Superman steps closer to Chief. "No," Clark says. He keeps his hands on it. "With us." Waller's voice is ice. "And if I order you to ignore them?" she asks Chief. "If I say, this is above the League, soldier. This is state business. You work for me now. Go?" Chief looks at her. "I don't," he says. The room buzzes. "You're a soldier," Waller says. You follow orders. I follow the mission, he replies. The mission now has rules. I agreed to them. You didn't. Waller's jaw tightens. So that's it, she says. You're a free agent with a god's blessing and nothing to stop you but your conscience. She sweeps the room with her eyes. You're all fools if you're okay with that, she says. She slams her connection off. The screens shift back to maps and graphs. For a moment, the hall is very quiet. Up to now, the world has seen Chief bound by cosmic law, but human power still wants to bend him, and the question of who he really answers to has just been thrown in his face in public. The lights dim. No one has touched the controls. A cold green glow seeps into the hall. Everyone freezes. Time slows. Only Master Chief moves easily. Superman, Diana, Bruce, and the others can still think, but their bodies feel heavy. Voices die in their throats. The Spectre stands at the far end of the room. He's smaller than before, but still vast. A cloak of shadows, eyes like twin lanterns. This is not for all of you, he says, voice echoing in brains, not ears. This is for the one I bound. He looks at John. You have worn my law for 3 weeks, the spirit says. You have tasted its weight. Now you will see your 3 paths. The hall vanishes. Chief stands alone in a field of stars. 3 scenes hang in the air before him like giant windows. Chief, Cortana whispers in his head. We're in something again. I see it, he says. The Spectre's voice surrounds them. Path 1. Return, he says. The first window flares. Chief sees the UNSC Infinity, battered but alive. He sees familiar faces, worlds he knows. Banished fleets push against human lines. The Forerunner Gate, repaired, waits. In this vision, John steps through a reopened portal. He fights back the banished. He saves his Earth, from ruin. He dies years later, old and scarred, holding a ring world from falling into enemy hands. He also sees the DC Earth, far away, without its Spartan anchor. Darkseid cannot use Forerunner tech there anymore, but he finds another road. A long, slow campaign through other means, through corrupted gods, through anti-life waves sent from still open scars. Metropolis burns in this view. So does Central City. The League falls one by one in a war that lasts centuries. Your home thrives, the Spectre says. This world eventually kneels. You will remember neither, for your mind will fracture from the strain of 2 realities. Your sacrifice is old, familiar, numbers over names. The scene fades. Path 2. Free agent, the spirit says. The second window lights. Chief watches himself. In this path, he breaks every leash. He cuts the Spectre's chains with stolen magic and will. He rejects Waller, the League, all of them. He builds his own war. He hunts Darkseid through dimensions, striking his armies, shattering his fortresses. He is terrifying. He saves many worlds. He also decides who is acceptable loss alone. He sees a metropolis under anti-life. People walking like puppets. Superman stands before them, resisting, eyes blazing. Chief in this path raises a weapon that can burn anti-life out of a city. It will kill 1/3 of the people it hits. Superman blocks him. You don't get to make that call alone, Clark says. I'm the only one who can, Free Agent Chief answers. They fight. This is the Superman versus Master Chief showdown the world always feared. Superman punches like a falling star. Chief moves like a tank on legs, using every trick, every grenade, every piece of cover. His armor is upgraded with stolen apocalyptian tech. He carries energy weapons meant for gods. They both hold back at first. That does not last. Chief fires a shaped charge that cracks Superman's ribs. Clark slams him through 3 buildings. There is no League this time, No Spectre stepping in. No rules. Just two symbols, each sure he is right. In the end, Superman lies on the ground, bleeding but alive. Chief stands over him, weapon ready. If you fire, Clark rasps, you kill them. You save who you think matters, and you become what you fight. Free Agent Chief hesitates. Then he pulls the trigger. The city burns. Anti-life breaks. So do minds. The world he saves is quieter, empty in places, scared of him. He never stops fighting. He never stops deciding alone. He never rests. You stop Darkseid, the Spectre says. You also become a new terror. The blood price is written only in your hand. You are free from my law and from everyone else's. There is no one left to stop you if you are wrong. The scene fades. Path 3, Sanctioned Servant, the Spirit says. The last window opens. Chief sees himself again. In this path, he stays. He keeps the chains of law and the checks. He works with the League, with fate, with people who argue and doubt. He watches Waller like a hawk. He refuses missions that break the rules, even when they might save more on paper. He fights Darkseid's forces many times. Sometimes he loses battles. He sees a small city fall because they refused to use a bomb that would have killed thousands. He sees Superman weep. He sees Waller rage. He feels the weight of people he could not save. He also sees a world that does not kneel. Decades pass. Darkseid never gets full anti-life on this earth. His assaults are checked, pushed back, broken. New heroes rise. Old heroes age. Chief stands on a watchtower balcony in this path. Older in ways armor can't hide, watching Earth rise. He never gets home. He never stops being a soldier, but he stops being a weapon alone. He sees Luis, older, working as an engineer in Metropolis, never broken by anti-life, because Chief and the League held. You will lose much and save much, the Spectre says. You will question. You will hate the rules at times. You will still bleed, but you will not bear the burden alone. The blood price is shared. The 3 windows hang around him. Return. Free agent. Sanctioned servant. The Spectre's voice softens, just a little. This is the last choice that is only yours, John 1:17, he says. After this, every choice will belong to many. Chief stands in the starlight. He thinks of his Earth, of UNSC troops reading a KIA report, of a child somewhere playing with a toy Spartan. He thinks of this Earth, of Luis, of Central City, of Superman lifting a beam beside him. He thinks of the second path, the rush of control, the clean lines, the smell of burned cities. Can I live with leaving my Earth? He asks. No answer comes. Can I live with killing a city to kill a god? He asks. He already knows that answer. No, he says. Cortana's voice is quiet. I'm with you, she says. You decide. I stay. He looks at the 3rd window. I'll take path 3, he says. Sanctioned, bound, I stay. I'll fight under rules I hate if it means I don't become that. The free agent vision flickers, then winks out. The return path fades. Only the 3rd remains, then it too dissolves. The Spectre looms. So chosen, he says. Green light crashes over Chief. It is not gentle. The anti-life residue in him flares, tries to fight. The Spectre's chains tighten, burning like ice through his nerves. New lines of law carve into his neural lace. He gasps, dropping to one knee. Symbols etch themselves onto his armor. On his left shoulder plate, the old UNSC emblem glows faintly, then merges with a small golden outline of the Superman S shield and a 5-pointed star like the League's logo. Around them all, a thin line of green light traces a circle, the Spectre's mark. His chest number, 117, pulses once, and settles under the new circle. It is simple, clear, a Spartan crest, fused with this world's main symbols and a judge's seal. The light fades. He stands. The Hall of Justice snaps back into place. Time resumes. Only a few seconds have passed. Superman and the others blink, then see the new mark on Chief's armor. Clark's eyes widen. "You chose," he says softly. Chief nods. "I'm your problem now," he says. "For good." Batman studies the emblem. "A soldier of 3 houses," he says. "Your old command, this world's heroes, and something above both." Diana smiles. "It suits you," she says. Chief shifts his shoulders, feeling the weight. "Feels heavy," he says. "Good," Bruce says. "It should." 2 days later, they test the new lines, not with Darkseid, with each other. The Watchtower training hall is a huge dome. Hard light projectors build city blocks, alien landscapes, whatever they need. Today, it looks like a broken metropolis street. Superman floats at one end. Master Chief stands at the other. Around them, behind a force field, Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg, and others watch. This is not a show. This is a contract. "We need to know what happens if we ever disagree at the worst possible time," Superman says. "If I go wrong, or you do." Chief nods. "Rules?" he asks. "No lethal force," Clark says. "We don't kill. We don't maim. We push until we know where the line is. If the Spectre's mark burns, we back off." Chief checks his HUD. Cortana hums. "Spectre hardwired some tripwires," she says. "If you lean too hard into free agent mode, I'll see it, and so will he." "Copy," Chief says. They face each other. Bruce's voice comes over the speaker. "This is not about who can beat who," he says. "It's about how bad it gets before the new rules kick in. Begin." The simulation starts. Broken cars, fires, a familiar falling beam, this time empty. Superman moves first. He flies in fast, but not full speed. His fist comes in like a sledgehammer. Chief sidesteps, armor servo whining, and redirects the blow off his pauldron. Impact still rattles him. He counters with a hard punch to Superman's side, above the hip. It would break normal bone. Clark grunts, more surprised than hurt. They trade hits. Chief uses cover, grenades with low yield, hard light obstacles. He fights like he always has, smart, ruthless, goal-driven. Superman fights like a man holding 2 truths. He could crush this soldier, and he must not. He uses heat vision to melt cover, but always angles it away from Chief's direct body. He uses his speed to disarm, not to break bones. Soon both are breathing harder. Chief's shields flare and recharge. Superman's suit is torn in places, skin under it bruised. Flash gives a low whistle. "This is terrifying," he mutters. In a cool way. A simulated parademon swarm appears, part of the program. Civilians flash in buildings, screaming. Batman had set this for a reason. The system calls out, "Scenario. Superman compromised. Spartan prioritizes mission. Civilians at risk." Superman's eyes flash red in the sim. He turns toward the civilians. "This is the test," Bruce says softly over comms. "Chief, what do you do if Superman is the immediate threat?" Anti-Life whispers in John's head. "Shoot him now. End the risk. Better one god than 10,000 humans." His trigger finger tightens. The Spectre's mark on his shoulder burns, hot as a brand. He stops. He hears the rule. You do not decide alone. "Lantern," Chief snaps. "Box him in. Now." Green Lantern doesn't hesitate. A construct prison slams around Superman. Not as strong as the real Clark, but enough to slow him. Chief rushes in, slamming into Superman's legs, pulling him off his line of fire. Diana appears between the cage and the civilians, shield raised. Magic and will and tech together. Superman's eyes clear. He blinks. I was about to hit them, he says. You were about to be a problem, Chief says. So we made it ours, not mine. The sim freezes. The warning voice cuts off. Outside the field, Batman nods once. That's what I needed to see, he says. Under pressure, you looked for help. You didn't take the clean, cruel shot. Chief rolls his shoulder. The mark helped, he admits. Burns like hell when I think like Omega. Superman steps out of the construct as it drops. He offers his hand. If I ever really lose it, Clark says, you do whatever you have to, but promise me you'll call the others first. Chief grips his hand. Promise, he says. Same deal back at you. Superman smiles. If I ever have to stop you, Clark says, I'll do it with you, not to you. Up to now, Chief has seen his three futures, chosen the bound path, worn a new crest that marks him as a guardian under law, and tested his new limits in a real clash with Superman, proving he can resist the old reflex to decide alone. Epilogue. On Apocalypse, Darkseid sits on his throne of stone and fire. Grail kneels before him, one knee down, broken spear stump in her hand. I failed to bring him, she says. He broke the anti-life spear. He chose judgment. Darkseid's eyes burn. You did not fail, he rumbles. You revealed him. He stares at a hollow projection of Chief's new crest. A soldier who rejects anti-life but carries its scar, Darkseid says. Bound by a lesser god, tied to a single world. He leans back. In time, he will be tested again, Darkseid says. When he doubts his chains, when he sees worlds burn because of rules, then I will whisper, the seed is still there. He raises a hand. Let him be their shield for now, Darkseid says. We will find other doors, other toys. The war is long. In a dark office in Washington, Amanda Waller watches a replay of the hall scene. She pauses on Chief's crest. So you answer to ghosts and capes now, she mutters. Fine, but I don't trust ghosts, and I've buried capes. She opens a secure file. Project, Contingency, the label reads. Inside are notes. Counter-Spartan tactics. Redesigns of old kryptonite protocols. Talks with certain magic users and scientists on how to reset anti-life marks if needed. I won't start a war with you, John 1:17, she says to the empty room. But I won't be caught helpless either. She closes the file. Earth needs weapons, she murmurs, even if we pretend we don't. In the watchtower, late at night, Chief stands alone at a window. Earth turns below, blue and green. Footsteps approach. Superman joins him, coffee mug in hand. Can't sleep? Clark asks. Don't sleep much, Chief says. Never did. They stand in silence a moment. How do you live with it? Chief asks at last. With what? Clark says. The times you couldn't save everyone, Chief says. The ones you lost because you refused to cross a line. Clark stares at the planet. I remember them, he says. All of them. I let the pain stay, but I don't let it write the next decision by itself. I let other people's voices in. Lois, Bruce, Diana, now yours. He looks at John. You don't have to carry it alone anymore, Clark says. That's the point. Chief nods slowly. I'm still learning how not to, he says. Cortana hums softly. We'll get there, she says. One impossible choice at a time. In Metropolis, Luis walks home from school. The city is still patched in places. Some buildings wear scars from the first portal. Others are brand new. On a big screen above the street, a news anchor talks. New symbol seen on the armor of the off-world soldier now working with the Justice League, she says. A fusion of his original insignia, Superman's shield, the League star, and an unknown green circle. Some are calling it the Spartan guard mark. The screen shows a still. Master Chief, standing with Superman and Wonder Woman, crest glowing. Luis stops and stares. "That's him," he whispers. "The green guy who saved me." A woman beside him, his mom, hesitates. "You still have nightmares about that day?" she asks gently. "Sometimes," he says. "But when I see him, it feels less scary." She looks up at the screen. "At least they're watching," she says. "Even the scary ones." Luis picks up his basketball. He dribbles it as they walk. He glances at the sky, like he always does. Sometimes he still hopes to see just red and blue. Now, he also looks for a flash of green, not as a weapon falling from the sky, as a guardian who chose to stay. Codex note: by decree of the Spectre and consent of the Justice League, Spartan 117 is registered in the hidden laws of this universe as a sanctioned guardian, bound to shared command and anti-life oversight, not to any single banner or state.